The question is figuring out how much of it is new money buying Bitcoin versus shifting around, like we're seeing likely right now at Grayscale. Money's pouring out. As far as how much money's being made, the only one making real money right now is Grayscale because they're charging high fee, but they're seeing money pour out. Everyone else, for the most part, most of them are offering 0 fee waivers. So it's literally free to hold these things for the next 6 months. So everyone's doing everything they can to get assets for the long-term play to keep those assets and then earn fees on them. And even the fees over the long term, they're really low. They're competitive with other ETFs in the U.S. landscape.
How big is this for? I mean, you guys, you and Eric and your team, they have a team. I'm like, we have to have a team for ETFs? And they're like, yeah.
Yes, we do.
So we built a team. How big is this Bitcoin thing in the overall scheme of kind of ETFs?
So we like to look at this and we like, the media tends to cover like 95% of what is in your sorry, let me restart.
Yep.
The media tends to look at stuff. It's 5% of your portfolio, but the media spends 95% of it. And that's what's happening here with Bitcoin, right? Like we think these Bitcoin ETFs could get to something like 1 to 2% of overall ETF assets 4 or 5 years from now, crypto ETFs in general. But that's it. That said, this is really interesting. It's fascinating. There's politics at play. There's a lot of money at play. There's a lot of big names at play. I mean, I just mentioned BlackRock, iShares, Invesco, all of them.
One of the things that we've been talking about, like gold. How many gold ETFs are there? I mean, gold is gold is gold. How do you differentiate one ETF versus another? So how many gold ETFs are there?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's somewhere around 8 or 9.
Okay.
So you'd be surprised. And a lot of them, so State Street is the main one. They offer GLD, but BlackRock also has one IAU. And each of those have a sibling that charges a quarter of what the other one charges. So GLDM, mini shares, and IAUM, also mini shares, essentially. And they just undercut themselves because they have enough liquidity in the other products. And then they offer this cheaper portfolio diversifier that people can use and only charge like 10 basis points to hold it.
My mind is blown right now. So the SEC approval, this is not the SEC giving that, stamp of approval to Bitcoin, correct?
Yes, correct. I mean, if you read the letters from some of the Democratic commissioners yesterday after they approved this thing, and Chairman Gary Gensler, he kind of approved this thing tongue-in-cheek, said the courts were forcing us. But at the end of the day, what they were saying is true. It's the reason why we've been saying the SEC shouldn't have been denying the Bitcoin ETFs in the most recent denials, because the SEC is not a merit regulator. Their job is not to say whether an investment has merit. Their job is to make sure that the proper disclosures are made and let investors decide whether it has merit. So they aren't supposed to be the ones dictating whether there's value here. Let the end investors choose, which is what's happening here, and why I think it's right that these things are now trading.
So just to be clear, because Rich Truman, my intrepid producer, pointed out earlier, what did Gary Gensler do from a vote perspective? Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, did he vote for this, against this? Did he vote for it with like a big asterisk next to it, or what happened?
Yeah, I guess the way to think about it, what he's voted with an asterisk. So the way that the SEC is set up is it's by a five-member commission, right? So typically it's 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and then a chairman. And the person who appoints the chairman is the president. So typically right now it's run by the Democrats.
Okay.
So what happened here is the 2 Democrats dissented on this decision. The 2 Republicans agreed with it, and Gary Gensler was the deciding vote that got this pushed through. I think it was all a political move. The Democrats didn't want to have to do this. They didn't really have much of a choice as far as I'm concerned. So by Gary being the deciding vote saying, yeah, I know we have to do this based on the courts and these other things, but we really don't like it. We didn't want to do it.
I hate to get into politics when we're talking money, which is my preferred thing to talk about. But why would the Democrats not want this?
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren specifically has said she's raising an anti-crypto army. She hates the crypto crowd. I mean, I understand some of it. There's been a lot of fraud, a lot of manipulation, a lot of bad actors in this space. So I get why they don't like it, but that's not the entire space. And like I said, the SEC shouldn't be a merit regulator. They shouldn't be deciding whether there's merit in an investment. They should worry about the risk.
The SEC was also saying, we regulate securities, and we don't think this is a security, right? Was that also one of their arguments?
Correct. But gold is not a security either. It's a commodity. So Bitcoin technically is going to be regulated by the CFTC, but still the Bitcoin ETFs are regulated by the SEC because ETFs are securities, which brings me to another point. One of the reasons why these are so important is many of these institutions, they can't hold anything but securities or bonds, what have you.
Right.
This puts them in a wrapper that now institutions, advisors, and more people can play with Bitcoin. They can't touch the underlying stuff for the most part.